Hey everyone, I'm Nina Zeta, Director of Partnerships at Sidewalker Daily, and today we're going to be talking about media kits, how to create it, what goes in it. This is like a super hot topic, I think, in our industry, and if you're new to our channel, I'm just going to give you the quick rundown. So our agency, the agency my business partner and I co-founded, Sidewalker Daily, we work with mostly travel brands, so that could include PR agencies or tourism boards or hotels on their influencer marketing really initiatives. So they hire us to like run their campaigns for them. But we also work with influencers and content creators and different creatives on building a sustainable business. So media kits are things that I receive all the time. Like when I'm working for a brand and I'm trying to like fill a campaign or a press trip, I need to, I'm asking for media kits. I'm also helping people create media kits with my private coaching. And I also have our own media kit that we use to get clients. So it goes without saying that media kits are pretty important for your success in this industry. So imagine you were going in for an interview to a job posting or a new job. You probably would have updated your resume, right? You're not going to go with a resume that's like 3 years old, that doesn't have like all your relevant work experience or old outdated references. Well, your media kit you have to be in the same mindset. Influencers and content creators, at the end of the day, you guys are entrepreneurs. You're your own business owner, and your media kit is a reflection of like all your constant work that you're doing, that you're putting out there into the world. So you have to update it as follows. And in today's video, I just want to like really dive into media kits and to everything I really know about them. So I always like to kind of start off, elementary. And for people who may not even know what a media kit is a presentation or a set of like presentation materials that gives a broad understanding of your business, right? So it's going to include like a bird's eye look into it. It's not really going to be super specific with every campaign and everything that you've ever done, but it's meant to be more like an all-encompassing piece of work. So I kind of think of it as like a visual resume. So why is media kit important? Well, for one, it shows that you take yourself seriously and that you view yourself as a professional. If you take the time to build out a nice media kit that, has a representation of all your work in the last few years, it's showing the brands that you're pitching to that you're a professional, that you take time in delivering like something that is aesthetically pleasing. And it makes brands also feel like, wow, if her media kit is, really attractive and good looking and took effort to make, she or he is going to take that same energy and put it into future work. Just as a sidebar, like our media kit tends to always get us work because people are so drawn to our branding and they just feel really excited about it. So it's a really good way to stand out, especially if you take time in creating a media kit that's like aesthetically pleasing. A media kit's also really important because you know what you've done, right? You know all the things you've like done in this industry. But imagine you're meeting someone for the first time. They're not going to have the time to click every photo, watch every video you've shot, see every campaign. No one has time for that. So your media kit is like that, like visual 30-second, like quick look at to who you are, what your stats are, who you speak to, who your target audience is. And it lets someone on the brand side like me know quite quickly if we're looking to take that conversation a little bit, to the next level. So let's break down what goes inside a media kit. Let's start with your about. Now, of course, you need an about. This portion of your media kit, like I've seen abouts where people like go on and on and on about them and where they were raised and where they came from. Again, no disrespect. I'm on the brand side. I'm here to help you guys. I see your about. I don't want to know that, your inner personal story. The reason I don't want to know it, it's not that I don't want to know it. I need to know like really quickly how you position yourself. What's your mission statement? So for example, a strong about would include really like, target keywords. So for example, I'm an adventure blogger. I know that you speak to adventure travel, or I focus on culinary, or I focus on, couples travel, and trigger, like those trigger words are what's going to help me identify if you're a good fit with my client. So your about needs to be less really about you, but more about how you want the client to perceive you or understand. So don't spend too much time on your about, making it like as personal backstory. Make it more about like the, who you are as a brand, if you could sum it up in a few words. What's also really important to include a page or section is your stats and your demographics. What people on the brand side, what we care about is your audience. Who are you speaking to? And is your audience the audience that we want to speak to too. So make sure you include, the geography, the locations where your audience is from. And it doesn't just have to be your web traffic location. If you're a blogger, also include your Instagram statistics or whatever social media platform, you have a lot of viewership on, because people want to see, okay, maybe you have like tons of, North American site visits to your blog, but on your YouTube, you get tons of traffic from Canada. Again, it's telling the story of where your audience is. We, as on the brand side, we want to know all that. So make sure you include those statistics, and not just geography. We want to know gender, like who is your audience? Is it mostly male or female? Now think about it. If I have like a swimsuit company, and your audience is 60% male, that may not make a right fit to me. And this is kind of where it fits. This is kind of where being a micro influencer has its advantages. So when you're adding your stats, don't worry about numbers, so to speak, like, oh, I don't have big enough numbers, because people like me on the brand side, we don't necessarily need numbers. What we need to know is that your audience makes sense for our product offering. So I'll explain. Okay, let's just say we have a blogger in Bali who has 2 million followers, okay, on Instagram. And she has so many followers and everyone's really impressed by her followers. But let's just say the majority of her followers are in Europe and Southeast Asia, and North America, But my client is North American and only does shipping in the US. Then it doesn't matter if you have a bajillion followers across the pond, because what I need is followers that are local. And that can be even drilled down even more. If you're a micro influencer, you have smaller numbers. So when you're putting on your stats, don't be insecure necessarily if your numbers aren't where you want them to be. It needs to be more focused on things that are important to the brand, such as, geography/location and demographics of who your audience is. And in your stats, you can also show different sorts of conversions, right? So you can show the things like impressions and engagements, but you can also include print screens of swipe ups, like how many people are swiping up on an Instagram story of yours, or in a blog post, how many people are clicking a certain link. Those little pieces of the pie are super important to include in your stats, section of your media kit. Now, we do not recommend putting stats or information just to do so. If it's not relevant and it doesn't make sense, just ignore it. So for example, if you have 50 Twitter followers and you're never on Twitter and you're adding it there, it's just don't add it. Only add the things that are important. Less is more. I rather have you focus on 2 platforms and do them well and strongly than listing every platform that you have, but ones that you ignore and don't really, put that much effort into. Another thing I personally like to see in media kits is kind of like a services page. Now, rather than just bullet pointing all the things that you could do, right? Like copywriting and photos and whatever it is that you're putting on your services section, show me examples. For example, if you do social media photo shoots, don't just put social media photo shoots. Have a little collage next to the media kit of some recent types of photography that you've done. If you do copywriting, maybe you can include some links of some recent blog posts that you've written for different clients. This is this portion where you don't just want bullet points because it could be glazed over, versus if you actually show what you can do. I think brands, we're more receptive to reading them or to being interested in it, because at the end of the day, if it's just bullet points, we may just gloss over it. Whereas if you take that time to really break it out, let's just say your services page is 1 page and you broke it up into 4 sections and you kind of showed visually what you could do in each section, I think that makes it more appealing. You'll absolutely want to show examples of your work. Even if it, let's just say you're a content creator, photographer, and you just want one slide that's like a collage of all the top type of images that you've ever done, go for it. But take it a step further, label the images maybe in the bottom corner, just breaking them up into niche. Like, you can shoot hospitality, you can shoot nature, you can shoot portrait, like, showcasing a little bit what you can do. You definitely want to include your past work. Now, again, remember I was saying like the bullet points with your services, this goes the same for working with brands. You don't want to list the brands. Put their logos on there, make a really beautiful presentation in terms of like getting those logos. And if you're not graphic design friendly, there's so many free tools now that are like catered to you. I mean, just Canva on itself, I'll have to do a video just on like templates because there's so many pre-made templates for presentations and media kits that you can just drag and drop. So take the extra step, take the extra mile and really put in that effort when you're making sure that your media kit is visually, appealing. As for rates, I personally would not put the rates in your media kit. This is something that I would have like a slide, and then on certain jobs or certain, pitching decks, you can include like a deck that has your rates and a deck that doesn't. And I would only send that deck that has the rates if it was asked, because if not, for me, I'd rather just like do proposals based on the brand's budget. And I also think this is something that I want to share with you guys that's often, I don't know, I don't see people doing this enough, and it's like super important, is customizing your media kit based on who you're pitching to. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of work, but the bare bones and the framework is the same. So for example, if you're pitching to a tourism board and you're pitching to, let's just say Costa Rica, if you put photos from maybe of your Hawaii trip or your Bahamas trip or something that has like a similar landscape, they'll be able to, the person on the brand side or that's doing those trips is going to be able to see their destination, like, oh, like they can see it. Whereas if you have photos of like, I don't know, Finland or a snowy destination, maybe it doesn't really it may not click. Again, this doesn't have to be an entire media kit that you have to customize. It could just be one slide. It could be your like work slide so that you can put photos or content that makes sense to the brand that you're pitching to. If you're pitching to a fashion company, include fashion-y photos. If you're pitching to a hotel, do not put the fashion-y photos because they don't want that type of content. So, think critically and maybe have like one slide in your media kit that you can constantly like swap out. One thing I noticed too is don't forget to include your contact information. Usually towards the end of the media kit, but make sure you have your name, your phone number, your email, all your social handles, your website linkable. That way people can, at the end, if let's just say they forward this presentation, if I get a media kit and I'm like, oh, I'm not the right fit, but I'm going to forward it to someone else at a different department, then the information is your contact info is already on the media kit. Something that you also want to consider is the length of your media kit. So if you're pitching in person, no one wants to receive like a 10-pager. It's just way too big and way too much. So you're going to want to focus on like a 1-pager back and front, printed on like a really thick sort of paper, polished, and those sort of presentations or media kits do really well like at blogging conferences, or if you're meeting someone for coffee, you just want to leave that 1-pager, again, a visual resume. That's what you're going to be doing. Whereas if it's an email pitch and you want to send over like your media kit, I think anywhere up to 10 pages is fine. And lastly, I don't know why I didn't mention this before, but I was just like thinking about it. So make sure you include testimonials. I know we talked about putting like your logos for your brand. Put a testimonial and ask the person that you're getting your testimonial from if you can include their LinkedIn photo. Again, it makes it human. Like if I'm saying Nina or Sidewalker Daily organized a wonderful trip and I just put the person's name, it's really different than if I have like a photo of the person giving me my testimonial. And again, using a testimonial is a really great way to validate the type of work that you do. So I hope this video gave you guys like a good overview on like media kits from a high level. I'm going to make more videos that kind of show you media kit mistakes and actually show you some of my favorite media kits. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned and subscribe to our channel so you can always be in the loop when I do release those type of videos. If you liked this video, let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I will be sure to see you in the next video.